Hi, all. This is Saida Belgara from Becoming I Am here with the astrology of Sunday, April 26th. So, this day, the moon enters the sign of Virgo as Mercury is in Aries and it squares Jupiter in Cancer. So, first of all, we have the energy of practicality, of structures, of creating, I want to say, a framework for the change that you would like moving forward. I think if we wanted to talk about Taurus season, right? Taurus season is the depiction of what I'm feeling for Sunday. And so it's kind of like this clean house energy because Mercury in Aries is these positive thought processes. I got this, I can do this, I can make this change. And the square of Jupiter in Cancer is I'm going to make the change and make practical ideas to address this block that I feel to expanding my, I want to say, reach or an awareness also. So you might physically feel like, I think I need to clean things out of my house, and that's great. But this is also more like, I want to say, internal, physical, spiritual, mental. So this is you kind of being like, dude, I've really been limiting myself. Like, I've been selling myself so flippin' short, and I need to do something about this. And how can I practically make that happen? That's this energy. And then we have Venus and Gemini, which is that social butterfly, creating a sextile, which is for me is that net that we cast out into the world in Neptune and Aries, which is into something that's actually us. And this is when you see that practical stuff that I was talking about before. And then all of a sudden you're like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't really want the same stuff anymore, right? I don't want to hang out with the same people. I don't want to be in the same environment. I don't like this food. I don't like the way I'm dressing, like one of those things. And the reality is that you really aren't changing. You're finally accepting you without having to worry um, what other people have an opinion about. Okay. It's like, it's like sitting there and thinking, why the hell was I fighting for this shit anyway? Like, why did I want this again? Who told me I needed this? One of those things. And that's why this is important because you're kind of casting out this net to something completely different because you realize you can want something different. And I know that sounds funny for some people, but I don't think people realize how much they've been going for that was never what they wanted. And then it's like realizing that you're something completely different than what you have been this entire time. Like the best way to explain it, right, would be like this entire time you're walking on the floor, you're walking on the floor. If you have to climb over something, you're climbing over something, you're having to climb those mountains, you're having to do all this stuff. And it's exhausting. It's so much work. And then one day you wake up and you're like, hey, I think these are wings. And then you start flipping them. You're like, holy shit, these are wings. I can totally fly. Why have I been using these legs that are so slow? I could have so flown over there and been there 50 million years later. That is what I'm talking about. This is what this feeling and this energy kind of feels like is finally having this realization of, wait, what? Why am I doing this again? That. And then this is because here we go with this very interesting energy that will be affecting us for a hot minute, okay? Which is Uranus entering the sign of Gemini. This is chaos connecting to chaos, communication, fast, and let's do it yesterday, connecting to let's break some shit up, okay? And this energy will be present in the collective until May 22nd, 2033. Yes, you heard me right, 33. So this is a hot minute. And for you guys to get a little bit of perspective on how this is going to affect us, okay? The last time we had this Uranus and Gemini situation, this marked revolutions in conflict, revolutions in communication, and huge identity shifts, kind of like World War II, kind of like the American Revolution, kind of like the Civil War. The only thing that makes this just a little bit different, okay, is the Pluto placement. So before we had Pluto in the sign of Leo, and the Pluto being in the sign of Leo, this is individuals' egos, a change on the way that we are kind of narcissistic. Let's just be honest. Like Pluto in Leo is 1,000%, I'm a narcissist. And so I need you to think about the collective, the generation that came out of that period of time, and how that generation is currently impacting the world, so that you understand what I mean with Pluto in Leo. Now, instead of being in Leo, it is going to be in Aquarius. And when it is Aquarius, the change that wants to be done is more a collective systems change. Okay. So what does that mean? That means structures that created your reality, the ways things have always been done, they feel like ass because they were created by narcissists. And now we're kind of in this, yeah, I'm over it. And this is when there's going to be this tug of war between matriarchal and patriarchal systems, right? Back and forth. And that is where we're stupid like humans. Because as long as we're fighting man, woman, this is different, this is better, this is better, this is better, this is better, both of us lose. Because united we stand, divided we fall. In other words, we are all women inside of us because we all start like a woman and then we shift into a different sex, male, female. In other words, all of us have the embodiment and the frequency inside of us of being a man and a woman at the same time. So if we're only focusing on one, we're doing the other one an injustice, and that is going to affect our physical world, our spiritual world, and our emotional world. And we can see that reflecting in the kids in our world right now that are suffering from all kinds of depression and stuff, or the situations with, I don't know, the environment, the world, everything in general is just like a hot freaking mess. Why? Because these structures were either made for one group or another group and not together. And that's the problem. And this is the reason why this revolution is so important, because it is the fundamental structure saying, you know what, this is ass. And we don't want to do this anymore. We need to either work for both and everyone, or we don't work with nobody. And there's going to be a big shift due to that. Now, the other thing that I want to tell you about this energy of this day is that the sun in Taurus will be creating a sextile, the net, with the North Node in Aries. Why is this so important? I'll let you know. Because even though all this energy is playing out, we have nothing to do with it. It's kind of like a people are going to talk, connections are going to be made, resources are going to be moving around. There's going to be some serious shifts happening in the world in general and in our internal 3D little lives. But they were already planned. We are already going to do it. You just don't know it yet. And because you don't know it yet, you're going to think it's all your idea. And that is the whole plan of it, to make you think you actually made the choice. And so, what I'm telling you is that I think that starting this Sunday, um, I would probably pull out some popcorn and watch the whole thing go into a blaze. And everybody seem like they're losing their MFing mind, because this is going to legit feel like a Korean drama. But I mean, it's revolution. It has to look a little bit nasty. I hope this helps.